Alright, so picture this scenario. You're main tank for your team in Overwatch. You're trying to get your team to the point. Everything is going good until you start to notice your McCree is getting really close to your shield, and all of a sudden, he goes for a flank. So you see this scenario and it's easy to think, what do as main tank? Should you go forward? Your shield is only at 500. Should you back up and maybe reserve your shield for a later engagement? What do you do in a situation like this? Well, with this series I'll break it down and give you the most optimal option to choose when faced with multiple options. But before I begin, I want to say that if you're interested in the series and want to see more, subscribe to your boy and hit that bell so you don't miss a vid. And by the end of it, if you found it helpful, be sure to give it a like. So now, what do? Okay, so there are always scenarios where you don't want to follow your DPS when they overextend, and scenarios where you do. So in a case like this, when your DPS overextends, you follow them and you give them cover. And here's why. When you're playing Overwatch or shooters for that matter, you always want to watch all situations around you. And when your main tank, it pretty much doubles. You also have to be very mindful of your cooldowns. And if you never play Overwatch or an RPG or anything that involves them, they're basically the time you have to wait before you can use a certain ability again. Alright, so with those explanations out the way, let's break it down! I really gotta get a better hobby. But let's break this stuff down. Okay, so when approaching this situation, the first thing I'm doing is I'm looking at every angle in every situation, where my teammates are and where theirs are. Now, in this scenario, I can see behind the walls because it's in a recording, but at the time I couldn't. So I have to go into the moment knowing that there's possibly people around me, but I'm paying attention. The next thing I'm also mindful of are my cooldowns and the enemy cooldowns, and my teammates cooldowns. I need to know exactly what they can use and what we still have available in our arsenal as I approach. So the only tank stun is gone, so I'm able to rotate around for my McCree freely without having to worry about getting stunned, while simultaneously blocking off the tanks, positioning and spacing for their teammates. You have to put a little faith into your DPS to get him to the places he needs to be to try to be successful. In this case, our DPS does, and we end up winning this team fight. You can also see in the top right corner that we get a pick at the very beginning of the initiation, which even puts more pressure on the DPS and the healers, knowing that their tanks are not there and they're down a member. The decision to follow the McCree gave us a huge payoff, and in this case was the final fight to win the match. So let's look at this from a different point of view. Now, you won't be able to do this in an actual match, but for the sake of this video, I want to show you exactly what McCree is doing and what I'm able to do to make him be successful with it. Now, this is the part where he starts to overextend. He notices the characters in the corner. When I see that he's going for it, I'll block off the tanks to where they can't protect the healers that are in the corner, while simultaneously giving the space they need in the back to do what they need to do. So I put the pressure around me. Any type of focus that they possibly could have got was already on me, and they were already blocked off from their positioning. So this is the parts basically where it feels like the tank is a thankless job. Now, I will admit he did make the mistake of rotating around to the left too early right here, but it's also in the support and the DPS players to realize where he makes a mistake, you have to rotate also, which ended up costing him. He does notice his mistake though, and as he sees that I'm rotating around, he tries to put pressure on the supports, but I'm already there to counter that by putting pressure and damage on him, which successfully gets us the kill and the game. So that's what do in a situation like this. If you found this video helpful and would like to see this into a series, give it a like, subscribe to stay with the series and my other videos, and follow me on my social media platforms. I'll put those in the description if you want to just keep up to date with what I'm doing as a gamer, coach, and just player. So that's all I want to say. Peace, love, and show out.